For Dan Weber, I'm Johnie Freatman, bringing you instant analysis here from Howard Jones Field. Dan, Lane Kiffin today spoke about a hot topic, and that has been play calling and whether or not he will continue to do that. What did he have to say?
Yeah, that may be a little stronger than the way Lane framed it. I think it's just a matter that Lane said, yeah, he thinks about it a lot, whether that combination works, and he said that, you know, one of the first things he thinks about is that when Pete Carroll left, that he told him, I think you should really, stay with the play calling. I think that's really important. Lane said he thinks the thing that really comes out of that for him is the relationship that he develops with the skill players, the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, the tight ends, all those, the running backs. That's really, really important for him to be able to develop that kind of a relationship, and that's essentially his career has allowed him to do that through being the play caller. So, but he said, he said, I've told you guys a lot. You got to think about everything you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and so he said, it's something you just keep thinking about.
Lane talked a lot about Andre Heidari and the uncharacteristically poor game that he had against Utah. Said that he had a bad week. Can you elaborate a bit on what Lane said about that?
Well, it's interesting. We were just talking to Andre, and he had an interesting point. Just as we were walking off, he said, it was my first road game of the year, and he was pushing hard, and he said it was more of a mechanical thing than anything. He got a bad plant foot, and then he tried to overcompensate on the second one, and he pushed it. And he said it wasn't Kessler. He said they were perfectly in sync, wasn't the hold. And he said the difference is Utah is one of these places where their fans are basically on your bench. And they can talk to, we were walking behind the bench at the end of the game, you realize their fans were able to talk to USC's players without even raising their voices. It was like conversations going on. And Andre's a really gregarious sort of a guy. But it didn't work well, having missed a field goal and then engaging in conversation with Utah fans who really loved the thought of that. And I guess it went back and forth a little bit, and Andre said, I just didn't handle it well. And, Coach brought me in on Friday, and we talked about it, and he said it was all me. And that's what he said, that the teammates would come up and say, come on, you're going to be fine and all that. But he said, I probably didn't handle that part of it really well.
We talked with Coach Marvin Sanders after practice today. Josh Shaw was a very popular topic of discussion, but things seem to come back to Torrin Harris a lot. What did Coach Sanders say about him, and what might fans expect to see Saturday, personnel-wise?
Well, I think Marvin was talking about Marquise Lee, and Marvin had an interesting point there. He said, "There's no way he's not coming over." He said, "You guys have a better chance of getting him to cornerback than I do." I said, "Even on Hail Marys?" He said, Hail Mary, it might be okay." He said, "Keep trying." He said, "You might get," he said, "but I'm not getting him over there because he's too valuable at wide receiver." But he did say, I don't think Josh actually got any corner reps today, but he got safety reps. And basically, when they talk about Josh, they talk about, and same with Lane, he's got the skill set, but he's a big cornerback, but he can tackle. I think Josh talks about he thinks he really likes his cover skills and ball skills. I think that's something that, they haven't completely decided about. We've seen other guys. Ryan Henderson has been making plays recently that we haven't seen before. But whenever you say that, Marvin says it's a depth situation. We're trying to develop more players there. But the guy we like is Torrin Harris. We like he after a year off essentially, and he gets the hamstring this year to go along with the shoulder injury that he kept setting him back last year. He said, I just think we haven't done a good enough job getting him enough reps, getting him enough individual stuff on the ball, reacted to the ball, and that, he's had a couple of plays where he's been in good position and hasn't reacted well to the ball. And Marvin said, that's on me. I've got to get him more reps with those kinds of plays. But we really, really, really like Torrin, and they think he's really playing better this week. And they're big Torrin fans. So there you go.
Well, Dan, thank you very much. For Dan Weber, I'm Johnie Freatman. This has been Instant Analysis. For more information, log on to uscfootball.com.